Airman, I know you're a loadmaster, but that doesn't mean you need to carry the load yourself. We have our own trucks for that. We have a motor pool. We have pens. Use them to sign a truck out instead of shoving them up your pee hole. Don't look away. Here's a clean one. And stop busting in the shower. We can all hear you through the wall. But, on the other hand, a new Ford Ranger isn't the dumbest thing you could have financed. What did you get? 36 months? 48? I'm not mad, I'm just confused. Because all this is a family sedan.
All right, Nick, you've been slacking with the songs the past couple of weeks. It's time to really give it your all, so let's go. Best song ever. I want you to know.
2020 Ford Ranger XLT. The new Ford Ranger is only a little wider than a second-gen Forester, but it's taller and longer. This is the stock ride height. It's a pain to load heavy things in its 5-foot bed because it's this high off the ground. Your Easy Pass transponder will have to go somewhere else because this Ford sensor pack takes up a lot of windshield real estate. And the fuel that goes into this truck is 87 octane, 87 regular. The Ford stock tune for this turbo 2.3 engine is made to run on cheap gas. And even with that marketing handicap, you're still getting 270 horsepower at the crank. Unladen, this entry-level truck scoots.
And gun it.
So that's second. And moves. Third. Moves really good.
Yeah, it
This moves with each gear. Yeah. Hey, this is all right.
It's an impressive truck.
I was expecting, a little bit more rental car,
yeah,
or a little bit more, Home Depot rental truck, but no, that got up to speed right quick.
Yeah, passing big rigs like coming here was easy. Like I wasn't fearing anything.
This feels faster than a Tacoma TRD Pro. But what happens when you load the bed up with stuff or tow something? Ford claims a tow rating of 3,500 pounds. But what happens when you go up a hill with a load or a big trailer? I mean, okay, you do have a 10-speed automatic to stay in the power band, but this 2.3 liter is going to be working hard and staying in boost for a long time and getting warm. I don't know what we can say about Ford trucks in 2020 that hasn't already been said about OnlyFans. It's a product which serves the bone-weary citizens of the tired workforce who, for a modest price, get their taste catered to in a way that isn't inherently exciting on its own, except for the fact that it's just for them. Anybody could have a Ford Ranger without being surprised by anything they find, because a basic truck is a basic truck. But the more granular you get through the process of tailoring it to your needs, the more alluring it becomes. Because we now live in an era of personalized experiences. OnlyFans. Cameo. These customized things that make people feel special. I mean, we don't have a Cameo account or anything like that because we can't imagine anybody would want to buy a greeting from us, but if you think about it, buying a Cameo isn't too far off from the end goal of a lot of people have for modifying their trucks. Witness me. Witness me. A married man. Yep, with children. Witness my new truck. I bought it new. I am on schedule for life. Selfhood is culturally received in the sense that men are identified in society by the tools with which they make their living. Or maybe the tools that they carry around royally, upon which to be proclaimed that they doth carry the septum of the farmer. Yea, I do carry the blued-eld emblem of the soldier. Yea, openly, or the rheumated belt of the laborer and his truck. These tools stand in place of the language a person might use to identify himself. The perspective of the farmer is recreated through the plow. The perspective of the soldier through the gun. The perspective of the F-boy through his hairless firmament of the land. In essence, the American identity veers away from the transcendental, nature-based, agricultural selfhood of Thoreau and toward the self, which is embedded in the power and status that this truck imbues. Get a truck and sit on the road throne. Intimidate your neighbors and their bike-riding preteen sure receptacles. But this is a 2.3 turbo. The actual utility of the truck runs secondary to the attention its functions can win you, even for a smaller truck. Or what passes for a small truck these days. Case in point, this Ranger does move. It's agile in a way you can't entirely trust. It's a family sedan. I swear, this thing drives like a frickin' Ford Flex. This truck isn't about how much you can haul, because, oil, but how swiftly you can merge on the way to work with an empty bed. The Ranger, gosh, it's almost sporty. And that's about the last thing we were expecting from something this chunky. This engine, man. 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, and the entire presentation feels like a broad attempt to update a vehicle style that's been around forever. Consider this. The F-150 is the more popular daughter, getting invited to all the parties and being swarmed by all the half-wasted varsity bench riders at that party, while the Ranger is the less popular but more talented daughter, who gets cast in every drama club production and writes navel-gazing, free-form verse poems for the literary art magazine. If you've driven an F-150, the Ranger will, at the very least, feel familiar, but more athletic, lighter, a sexier version of something you already know, like a XXX parody that doesn't have to change the name of the movie it's spoofing. Mods include a tailgate strut, because without this thing right here, I mean, when you get it from Ford, this tailgate is going to do that free fall boom if you let it go. That when you drop the tailgate, it just bangs off its hinges. Another thing they did there is put a little piece of a little key cylinder filler. This little plastic piece right here. Because when Ford made this little ignition barrel right here, they went big time gap between that and the rest of the steering column cover. So there's a thing, like, when you get these trucks, it's bigger than the gap of your key. So if you miss, it happens, when you miss the key barrel, you're just going to shove this thing into the steering column cover, and it's going to get stuck there. So there's a whole thing on the Ranger forums that you get this little cover and it fills that gap. Another thing that Ford doesn't give you is a little organizer for the center console. When you get an XLT, this thing just goes right to the floor. You get this big kind of like igloo cooler, but it doesn't cool anything, this cavern. So if you drop like change in there, it falls to the floor and you can't reach it. Okay, big thing here. This thing has a Ranger Raptor grill, which was never brought to the US. We never got this grill, allegedly out of fears that it would cut into the F-150 Raptor sales. Eugene also added third-party running boards. Overall, his choices were pragmatic. He got the XLT instead of the Lariat because a Lariat has a bunch of unnecessary expensive extras, like leather seats. You really don't need that in an entry-level truck. And a leather-covered dash. So what? He is a kid. This thing's going to get covered in, little kid prints anyway. Although LED headlights would have been nice. And an engine cover. Yeah, the XLT just comes with the engine exposed like this. You get an 18-gallon fuel tank, and fuel economy is 18 miles per gallon average. Although the paperwork says 20 city, 24 highway, and 20 combined from factory. MSRP is $38,295, and that seems reasonable enough because $45,000 is the new Stockholm Syndrome price for new trucks these days. It's not full-time all-wheel drive. It's got a selectable drivetrain, but you do get a suite of features like a hotspot modem, lane keeping, and hill assist, and Ford Pass Connect 4G Wi-Fi. You get pre-collision assist, and a tire pressure monitor, and a curve control function, which uses advanced track and roll stability control to slow the vehicle down when you're going too fast on a curve. Because, all right, I kind of understand that because this thing is so car-like You're going to want to take off ramps, like 10 miles an hour faster than recommended speed or more. And you're going to be, hold on, I know it feels like a car, but this is still a truck. Trucks are dependable in the automotive community as much for their perception as anything else, because the goalposts on a truck are always going to stay in place, even if they move on price. No matter how many times a company wants to update it, no matter how many changes they want to make to what you already understand a truck to be. It's like guys who are way too into dodgeball. People love trucks because the rules never change. Trucks don't have to try as hard as cars do to please owners because trucks already have a bedrock following that, at least in our experience, doesn't seem to hold the vehicle to the same standards as a traditional car.
I'll turn this off.
All right.
Actually, turn that off.
The thing I hate about, and the one thing I don't like about the sync system,
Yeah.
is all the controls. And I've seen this on the Subaru Outback too.
Uh-huh.
With, the Outback with the big like iPad in the center.
Uh-huh.
Is that your climate controls or your HVAC controls are primarily located here. You have the
Yeah.
basic stuff here, but say if I wanted to point my heater to like just to my face,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it here. I gotta do it through here, which is a pain. So if I'm listening to if I'm in like Android Auto, I'd have to go to Android Auto, go to the Ford Home. Hold on, let me show you.
Okay.
So if I did do so if you're driving, let's see, here Fleetwood Mac, that's
copyright.
yep. I'm gonna turn that off. So, yep. All right, good. So if you're in Android Auto, right? So if I wanted to, say if I'm driving and it gets a little hot, obviously I can just turn it off. Or if it's just blowing my face, but I want my feet warm or something,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go here, go to Ford, while I'm driving, mind you. Hurry up, Ford. Exit. Okay, good. And then I would actually have to click, and then it will just turn on by itself. Then I have to go back to Android Auto just to go to my map. It's just like...
That is a lot of your eyes not on the road.
Yeah, and it was like the one thing that was kind of like a little pet peeve, but I could live with it. Because most of the time, if you just throw it on auto and if you put it to like super low, it doesn't really bother you. I don't know where the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was just one of the pet peeves that bothered me. But other than that, and the tray and the ring and the dampener.
I borrowed a Ford, and it was a brand new Ranger. Oh, if I'd only seen that the trim's XLT,